What is up, everybody? I'm No Lex Given, and today we're going to be taking a look at the fates and trying to have some fun with Polywoggle. I really love playing Polywoggle on the fates. That is always just leads to a lot of very powerful interactions and can do some pretty silly stuff. And this game is not going to be different. Well, it is going to be different. We do some different things in it, but I just mean it's also going to be fun. It's also going to be sweet. I'm potentially trying to slay with this Polywoggle so that way we become fated to a tier 3 character. That's always cool. And I roll the die there hoping that it lands on Poly, but when it doesn't, if it landed on either Kitty Cup Purse or Blind Mouse, I was going to sell that off to pick up the Polywoggle. Didn't want to buy and sell and then risk the 50-50. I just want to grab the Polywoggle this turn. And then, still potentially a chance that Polywoggle could slay here. There was a 1 in 6 chance that it happened, but not going to be so lucky. So I'm going to triple the Polywoggle on this turn, and that allows me to grab Hermes Sandals. So now I know that I can get Polywoggle to slay next turn as a 5/5. So I'm going to wait. I'm going to wait till I level up here with the Fates, and this turn I am only going to play Rainbow Unicorn, and I thought this was a really fun idea here. Hopefully Rainbow Unicorn can save us a little bit of health, and then even if we take a whole bunch of damage, Polywoggle will slay next turn, and then we'll be off to the races, and it actually works out pretty well. Rainbow Unicorn is able to take out 2 of my opponent's characters, so we take 4 damage, down to 28, and it worked out even better than I could have imagined because now we also have a True Love's Kiss in this shop for us. So this is really good. I'm going to pick up the Shadow Assassin and the Cinderella. Polywoggle should be able to slay here, and if it does, it will become an upgraded tier 4 character that we can immediately turn into an upgraded tier 5 character, and that is quite the way to start the game. So was really excited about how this one turned out, and especially deciding to bench basically my only unit on 2.2 and then having it turn into something this great shortly afterward. Gingerbread Knight 17-18, but we've got 28 health, and with such a big character we're probably not taking any damage anytime soon, so let's True Love's Kiss it. Let's spin the wheel, and that gives us a pretty big monster here. That gives us 3 big pigs with it's a 21-21 that makes a bunch of 6/6s, so that's almost 40 in power and health. Pretty good stuff there. Looks like after that I am locking onto this Crafty, potentially also locking onto this Good Witch. Maybe I'm just locking here because I felt like this was good enough. I'm definitely interested in rolling for another True Love's Kiss. If I can find a True Love's Kiss at any point, that will probably, I could probably find a way into turning that into a way to win the lobby. But even short of that, and we're going to see a new spell in this shop, so it doesn't matter that we lock, because we'll still be able to find a spell here. So we'll see what we can do. And my opponent with a Water Wraith is actually looking pretty strong, but I do think we are going to be able to battle through this eventually, and then we'll also take out their Queen of Hearts, and then, yeah, we can have our little piggies clean it up here. So pretty good stuff. And yeah, picking up the Good Witch seems reasonable. Now the Trojan Donkey is at 10 health. So that's not too shabby. And the other thing that I'm kind of thinking here, Mix-a-Wizzle's cute, and then we actually have 2 of those same units, so I could lock onto this one again. I wouldn't hate the idea of Mix-a-Wizzling and then trying to shard the pigs, but part of the reason that I just cast the Magic Research this turn is because if we are able to get a treasure from Cindy, if that's Big Book of Spells, that could potentially help us find a True Love's Kiss to activate or to give us an upgraded tier 6 character. So those are kind of some of the things going on in my head. Plus, a tier 2 treasure from Cinderella is just good as well. And yeah, there's a lot of things that we can do with that. So pigs are mostly just going to carry us for a lot of this game. We'll see how far we can get basically just off the backs of those. And yeah, I think that's going to bring us pretty far. We do get to pick up a pair here if we want to pick up a Shadow Assassin, but we're not slaying, so that's kind of awkward. Yeah, this seems great. Let's buy some XP. That's basically, I think, the best thing that we could have hoped to pick up right now. I'm somewhat partial to that Polywoggle that's in the shop, just because this is a Polywoggle game. But I also don't think that it's worth locking here, because if we are able to win, and this one isn't guaranteed, I think this is the weakest that we are comparatively to the rest of the lobby. It's 4.0. We don't have any tier 4 characters. We just have these pigs. But if we are able to win this one, we'll be level 5 next turn, and then we can look to start picking up some level 5 characters. So not super interested in things like Monster Book at this point, when we could potentially have access to some bigger and better things. And by the looks of it, I think that we are going to be strong enough. My opponent does have a donkey as well, but it's basically all that they had, and we are going to be able to clean this one up and grab that bonus XP. So 2 XP up, and yeah, let's grab some more XP. Let's get even more XP up. This allows us to grab the treasure from Cinderella. We do get Big Book of Spells, so that's pretty sweet. Maybe I spoiled that one a little bit. And now I'm just trying to see, okay, we can add one more character to this board. If we sell something off, we could sell off the Unicorn, pick up Lancelot, or we could sell off Shadow Assassin and pick up Cupid. So those are like 2 options that I want to consider here, and to potentially help us win this Wish Upon a Star. And if we could win this Wish Upon a Star and be level 6 next turn, 4 XP up on the rest of the lobby, well, that'll be pretty good. So I am just going to go for the Cupid. Interestingly, I could have put Cupid in slot 1 because we do have those Hermes sandals, but I do decide to finally start backlining those piggies, so that way we've got some space to spawn in on the Trojan Donkey. Cupid spawning or staying alive with just 1 health is super, super sweet. And I don't know if my opponent actually had a Juliet. They do, but we are going to have just enough stats there with those piggies to find the win. So 4.2, and I'm on 6.0. Pretty insane stuff. So let's play trees. Why not, right? I would have loved to have found a True Love's Kiss for these pigs, but I think when you are this ahead of the rest of the lobby, you just buy all the trees that you can see and start doing some sweet stuff with that. Robin Wood is awkward in that it will pump Baba Yaga, but it's still great in that it's a tree. So I think I'm going to sell off these good characters in my hand and pick up this Robin Wood, and that'll just give us 2 pretty large range characters. I do decide to move Robin Wood into the Hermes sandal slot there, finally making some better use of that. And yeah, we had another option in this shop with the Aeon plus the Baba Yaga, though we're level 5, we don't have a crystal ball. This is a much better route for us, I think. The Hermes sandals won't be that great for us with a trees comp, but yeah, just being 4 XP up, you can't not play trees, and we're even going to get some bonus cash from the Share Bear here, so pretty great, all things considered. We just have to take out that Sporko, and that's an easy win. So now we actually have 12 gold this turn. That's great. I think about picking up a pumpkin. We've got some other scam in this lobby, and like, we are definitely set up well to just play a scam board here. Like, this is a scam comp right in the shop. So I'm doing the math, 13 plus we could sell 2 things. We could sell 3 things. That puts us to 16. We could hang on to the Robin Wood instead, and that leaves us with just enough to buy the pumpkin, the rotten apple wood, and the Medusa. Though I do think about buying the Cupid. It's a pair. The Ashwood Elm's a tree, so there's definitely some trade-off either way. But I do wind up going for the tree ultimately. And it's a really close call, to be totally honest, but I don't know. Either way, huge power spike this turn. Horde Dragon thinks they're doing well with a bonus XP here, but no. Our board is just crazy good. I mean, Horde Dragon's able to put something together there with a copycat monster book. It does look like it could be a little bit scary potentially, but we are able to take them out ultimately, and we only hit them for 8 damage. They don't crack open our pumpkin, but that was almost even scarier for them. Pick up the golden chicken here. That seems fine. Could even go for the genie's wish, but I would love to pick up an echo wood, so that seems great. And then after I do that, I am going to go ahead and gigantify, hugify, I don't remember. We're going to add 10 health to Ashwood Elm, which is really good if we can manage to find a burning tree down the line. This lobby is actually close to being dead. We are in the top 5 right now, and this is turn 5.1. This is natural 5.1. That's absolutely crazy. So yeah, that definitely like provides some additional incentive to try to just build a strong board here and now. Don't worry about picking up all of the trees and doing anything crazy and going super nuts for it. But we can see that this Loki has also been bullying the heck out of this lobby. Now, they haven't found a pumpkin yet, but they do have a bunch of scam on their side. So this one could be close. Medusa is going to be able to get rid of that water wraith, but it gets taken out by the ancient sarcophagus before it can do so. So Cupid has got to do some work here, and it's awkward, but we are able to steal the water wraith, and then we get owned by the Medusa. But a really close combat, really fun one, to be honest. 65% chance that we lose, but I just thought that combat was super fun. I had fun with that one. I'll pick up another Echo Wood, and then I will grab a free roll. And at this point, okay, I am going to try to look to play some trees. I think the trees would be really strong on this board. Not going to worry about the Medusas, but I think I will lock on to an Ashwood Elm. It's Ashwood Elm plus a Flourish that has been renamed. I don't know the new name of Flourish anymore. Looks like it's called like Exponential Growth or something. Yeah, I just don't know the name of this new spell. But either way, we can pick up some sweet trees with that. And still doing a nice job scamming, though I do have to say, unfortunately, I think that these pigs are not long for this world. They're going to get taken out here. They're not really doing that much for us. And ultimately, they are just not as strong as the rest of the stuff we got going on. My opponent steals my Cupid, but we take it out pretty shortly after that. And what's in the pumpkin? Is it enough? That is always the question. We've got the Ashwood Elm to potentially shrink this guy, and then one spell from the monster book takes them out. So that's looking pretty good. We will flourish, and then one small thing. I flourish and I kind of like balance my stats there. I make my smaller Ashwood Elm bigger. I think that that's wrong for the explicit reason that if we draw a knighthood from this big book of spells, or even just otherwise, knighthood in general, it's better to have one bigger Ashwood. Of course, if we combine them, doesn't matter. But if we wind up finding a knighthood and grabbing an upgraded one that way, we'd rather to knighthood the one that we've already cast a bunch of other spells on, so that way it can give double the usage of all of those spells. So potentially a small mistake there, though. There is some merit to giving our second Ashwood Elm a little bit more health. Of course, doesn't matter there as it dies to exact damage from the Juliet, but yeah, just something to keep in mind there. No problems at all up against the Ghost, and then we are on to the top 4 of the lobby. This Loki was scamming and doom breathing and doing a bunch of sweet stuff like that before. So I'd really like to find some more trees, but we are going to grab a tier 6 treasure here in Echo Wood. And unfortunately, Phoenix Feather doesn't really work with the current comp that we're playing. Spear of Achilles also does have some synergy with Echo Wood. I would love to play Phoenix Feather in trees generally, but I think that this is a Spear of Achilles board. Our Robin Wood is going to be our Phoenix Feathered unit if we grab the Phoenix Feather, so I'm not super interested in that. And then I do have to consider if I want to cast this Lightning Bolt, and I ultimately decide that I do. My opponent had a few targets for that, so we'll see if we can get that popping. And yeah, now we're going to play Spear. Like I said, that will also have some synergy with Echo Wood, but that is more a tempo treasure, so that way we don't just get weirdly scammed by Loki right now. And then once we do eventually find the Burning Beard, then we'll put in the Echo Wood, and then we'll potentially be able to do some good stuff. We take out my opponent's Boom Hilda with that Lightning Bolt. Boom on ya, and then we're going to be able to take out their Water Wraith with our Rotten Applewood. So pretty good stuff here. Does look like my opponent is going to steal something with their Siren, despite me continually failing to steal with Siren. So we take 9 down to 8, and now we're up against the Ghost. That's fine. We will make it work here, and because I'm up against the Ghost, I'm gonna dream and see what we can find. And we find a Knighthood off of Gwen. So there's another way to find a Knighthood, and there's another Knighthood, by the way, too. But yeah, it could have been a good idea then to be able to use those Knighthoods. But I'm actually also going to be able to triple my Ashwood Elm, so that's pretty sweet. And these treasures are a little bit awkward. I mean, I think Wand of Weirding for the finals is pretty good, though I am actually somewhat using the Hermes boots. Wand of Weirding plus Big Book of Spells will have some utility, and then I am hoping that next turn, I mean, maybe we Knighthood the Pumpkin, maybe we find another tree. So we've got some options there. Kind of awkward that we're picking up the wand and then we still have this Knighthood in our hand, so we might not have time to do everything that we want to do, but we'll see. We'll see what we can make happen here. Echo Wood is going to take out some of my opponent's characters, and then we'll crack open the pumpkin and get to winning. Not too big a deal up against the Ghosty there. And now we're actually playing the Horde Dragon, so I forgot there will be even a little bit more of a reprieve. If we go back, how much health did the Horde Dragon have a second ago? Okay, so Horde Dragon beat Loki. Yeah, because I knew that Loki had a little bit more health, and I don't know why. I guess they can't. I thought the Horde Dragon had less health for some reason. Unfortunately, we have not made Ashwood Elm good yet, so we cannot use that. Then I wind up finding another Echo Wood. It's just tough because we only have 8 health, so this is definitely getting a little bit scary, and I don't want to just do nothing this turn. So I think that ultimately I will decide to pick up this Ashwood Elm here because it's something. Oh wow, I don't pick up the Ashwood Elm. I could go for a Robin Wood. That seems fine. And then do I use this Knighthood? It's such a close call because I'd really love to use this Knighthood on a Burning Beard. So I'm going to save it, and we'll see if that is too risky or just risky enough. Black Prism World Tree, Monkey's Paw. My pumpkin goes down, so I'm actually kind of glad that I didn't waste it on a pumpkin because I would have not gotten full value there anyways. But do I have enough with my ranged characters to find a win? Cupid's really scary, but we survive with 1 health. Crazy stuff. Now we are up against Loki and we find the Burning Beard, but before I do that, we could take Robin Wood, skip the treasure? That's tricky. That's tricky. What can we do here? Alright, well, because we're basically just skipping the treasure, but Hand of Midas was the awkward one. Like, what do I do if I get Hand of Midas? And I think I have to pick it up now. And then I have to now Knighthood the Pumpkin, or I just go for this. It's more straightforward. I don't have to play a character down. There were a lot of really interesting options to think about here, and then ultimately not even going to lock onto this Beauty's Influence because I am kind of leaning on this pumpkin as well, but really tough stuff. Maybe should have never tossed the Hermes sandals, but we have an absolutely massive Burning Beard at this point, and that's going to give us a massive Echo Wood, and that's actually going to be enough to take out Loki. So we grab the win, and now we're on to the finals up against this Horde Dragon, and now maybe we can finally make use of this wand. and start to cast some spells twice. There we go, a lucky coin, that's a start. Gigantify is a bunch of stats. I mean, I'd love to find a Pigomorph or something, but Gigantify is plus 20 health, which then gives plus 40 attack, which gives plus 80 health to both Burning Beard and Echowood. So that's a lot of stats, but I do wind up rolling past it. Shrivel could be reasonable, though Lordy's going to save all of their characters from Shrivel. Do get the option to pick up another Burning Beard here. That's also kind of good. Could cut the Pumpkin, could cut the Ashwood Elm. I don't know. There's a lot of different ways to play this one. And then yeah, here's what I'm going to ultimately wind up going with, and then I just finish off by casting a Witch's Brew for +2/+2 on the Ashwood Elm. My opponent found an upgraded Good Boy as well as another Good Boy, but their characters don't have that much health, and then Cupid makes two of their characters trade with each other. Alright, two of my characters are going to trade with each other too, but we find the win, surprisingly, through all of that. This was a crazy one, and we did some crazy stuff in it, and definitely kept everybody on their toes at the end. There were just a lot of, like, really minute decisions, and I'm not sure if either of them were correct in almost any of those situations, and it's always like you're playing with hindsight and stuff too. But the one thing that I definitely don't have any regrets of, and I know was the correct play, was benching that Polywoggle on 2.2 so that it wouldn't slay. And by the way, sometimes you will see me put the Polywoggles in slot 4, so that way they don't slay. But a 5/5 Polywoggle is going to slay, and it would have, even in slot 4. So I had to just bench it, so that way I could save it for the next turn, so that way I could get it to transform into a tier 4 character, so that way I could True Love's Kiss it into a tier 5 character, so that way I could win not 1, but 2 back-to-back Wish Upon a Stars, so that way I would hit level 6 on natural 4.2, and so that way I would be able to put all of this together. That's going to be it for me today, guys. That, I don't know, I wanted to work in one more so that way, but so that's going to be it for me today, guys. Thank you very much for watching. I'm No Lex Given. Peace.